Welcome to the official channel of Sheikh Hamdan's fans, where we delve into the intricate world of the royal family and the dynamics that shape their lives. Prepare to be transported on a poignant journey of love, loyalty, and self-discovery. In the heart of the palace, a sudden and shattering command echoes through the grand halls, leaving Sheikh Hamdan reeling. "Get out of the palace, now." The words strike like a bolt of lightning, freezing him in place. The urgency in his father's voice is unmistakable, a tone that brooks no argument. As he stands there, the opulent chandeliers above cast long shadows on the marble floor. The palace, once a sanctuary, now feels like a labyrinth of uncertainty. A life of privilege, built upon the foundations of tradition and expectation, is on the cusp of being upended. For as long as he can remember, Sheikh Hamdan has lived within the safety of these walls, the son of a powerful ruler, bound by the rules and discipline of his royal heritage. Yet, nothing could have prepared him for this moment, for the king's words to leave him feeling so lost and alone. "You have to trust me, son," his father had urged, his voice low and insistent. "Go now, before it's too late." The whispers of betrayal swirl around him, the murmurs of the guards, the distant sound of footsteps echoing down the corridor. Something is amiss, and Sheikh Hamdan's mind reels with the implications. Has he been betrayed? Has someone within the palace turned against him? Or, worse still, has he brought this fate upon himself? The truth hit me like a tidal wave, and I recoiled, my heart racing with a mix of fear and adrenaline. The palace door loomed before me, a threshold to the unknown. Leaving meant abandoning everything I'd ever known, but staying was unthinkable. The echoes of my father's voice still lingered in my mind. "Get out of the palace, right away." I knew with absolute certainty that I had no choice, I had to escape. The urgency in my father's words was like a ticking time bomb, propelling me forward. I didn't hesitate. I turned and sprinted toward the nearest exit, my pulse pounding in my ears like a drum. The once familiar golden halls now felt like a labyrinth of danger, every shadow hiding a potential threat, every echo of footsteps behind me sending a shiver down my spine. I had to keep moving, no matter what lay ahead. As I emerged into the outer corridor, the eerie silence was shattered by the ominous presence of the guards stationed at the gates. Their eyes, like hawk-like sentinels, seemed to pierce through the shadows, searching for any sign of betrayal. I knew I couldn't trust them. My father's warning still echoed in my mind like a death knell. I had to vanish, to disappear into the labyrinthine corridors of the palace like a ghost. My mind is racing with desperate calculation. I recalled the forgotten servants' passageway, a hidden artery that pulsed with secrets and whispers. I had only dared to tread its narrow path once, as a reckless child, seeking a forbidden adventure beyond the gilded cage of the palace. Now, it might be my only salvation, my sole escape from the deadly trap that was closing in around me. With a deep breath, I slipped into the passageway, the damp stone walls enveloping me like a damp shroud, the scent of decay and secrets filling my nostrils. As I plunged deeper into the palace's hidden recesses, the darkness seemed to swirl around me like a vortex, threatening to consume me whole. Why was I fleeing the only home I'd ever known? Why did my father, the king, banish me from the palace? The questions swirled in my mind like a maelstrom, but I had no time to ponder them. A name, a single word, had changed everything. Just as I reached the hidden exit, the sound of raised voices echoed above me, their urgent tones laced with malice. My name was spoken with contempt, with an authority that sent a shiver down my spine. Those searching for me weren't coming to escort me to safety, they were coming to eliminate me. In that moment, I realized this was no ordinary order from my father. It was a warning that my life had been forever altered. With no time to think, no time to hesitate, I pulled the hood of my cloak over my head, pushed open the door, and stepped into the frigid night air. The cold slapped me like a wake-up call, a harsh reminder that I was no longer a prince, no longer the heir to the palace. I was a fugitive, forced to flee for my life into the unknown. I emerged from the palace walls, a solitary figure, shrouded in darkness. No guards, no servants, no protection, just the echoes of my own footsteps. I pulled my hood lower, casting a shadow over my face, and forced my legs to move, driven by a primal urge to escape. The only home I'd ever known was now a distant memory, a fleeting glimpse of a life left behind. As I vanished into the city's labyrinthine streets, the palace gates receded into the distance, leaving me to navigate the unfamiliar terrain. The city pulsed with life, a kaleidoscope of flickering lanterns and hushed conversations. People moved through the streets, oblivious to the fact that the once untouchable prince now walked among them, a ghostly figure hiding in plain sight. I kept my head down, blending into the crowd with a practiced air of nonchalance. But the sounds of pursuit echoed through the night air, the clank of armor, the thunder of hooves. The palace guards were closing in, their searchlights casting an eerie glow over the rooftops. My father's words still lingered in my mind, a haunting refrain. Get out of the palace, now. Had he saved me from a threat lurking in the shadows, or had he banished me, casting me aside like a broken toy? The uncertainty gnawed at my chest, but I couldn't afford to indulge in doubt, not yet. I had to keep moving, one step ahead of my pursuers, into the unknown. I melted into the shadows, squeezing into a narrow alleyway as the guards thundered past, their torches casting flickering shadows on the walls. My breath came in shallow gasps, my heart racing with every snap of leather, every clank of steel. If they found me, I'd be silenced forever, my questions left unasked, my fate sealed. I exhaled slowly, carefully, as the guards disappeared into the night, their echoes fading into the darkness. I needed a plan, a strategy to unravel the tangled threads of deceit and betrayal. I needed answers, but most of all, I needed to survive. And to do that, I had to vanish. The prince of the palace was gone, lost in the labyrinthine streets of the city. Whoever I became next would be the only way to uncover the truth, to peel back the layers of intrigue and uncover the secrets that had driven me into the night. The darkness pulsed with tension, every sound amplified, every movement a potential threat. I was no longer a prince, sheltered within the safe walls of the palace. I was a fugitive, a ghost haunting the city's shadows. I once ruled from a throne of privilege, but now I was a stranger in a strange land, navigating the unfamiliar streets with every sense on high alert. The uneven stone beneath my feet, the pungent scent of damp wood and burning oil, and the low hum of voices speaking in hushed tones all combined to create a world that was both captivating and terrifying. As I walked, the city's secrets began to unfurl before me like a tapestry of mystery and intrigue. Merchants closed their stalls, their weary faces a testament to the struggles of a life lived in the shadows. Workers trudged home, their footsteps echoing through the night air. Each step I took drew me deeper into this unknown world, further from the life I once knew. The weight of the unknown pressed upon me like a physical force, but I pushed forward, driven by a hunger for answers. Has my father truly meant to protect me, or has he cast me out into the darkness? The questions swirled in my mind like a maelstrom, but one thing was certain. Whatever had driven me from the palace was far from over. It was just the beginning. The night air vibrated with an air of secrets and whispers, and then, a low, velvety voice sliced through the darkness, sending shivers coursing through my veins. You shouldn't be here. I turned, my heart thrumming in anticipation, to face a figure shrouded in shadows. Their eyes sparkled like stars in the night sky, holding secrets and mysteries that beckoned me closer. As they stepped forward, the soft glow of a lantern danced across their features, revealing a face that was both familiar and unknown. It was as if I had stumbled upon a forgotten memory, a piece of my past that had been hiding in plain sight. Their gaze held mine, a silent understanding passing between us. You need to come with me, they whispered, their voice weaving a spell of intrigue and curiosity. I hesitated, my heart pounding out a rhythm of excitement and trepidation. Why? What secrets do you hold? I asked, my eyes narrowing as I scrutinized the stranger. Their gaze faltered for a fleeting instant, a hint of unease flickering across their face. A message from your father, they replied, their voice low and measured. The words dropped like a bombshell, sending my mind reeling. My father hadn't abandoned me, but the fact that he had entrusted this stranger to find me spoke volumes. A chill crept up my spine as I realized the truth. I was in grave danger, and time was running out. I stood at a crossroads, weighing my options. I could follow this stranger into the unknown, or strike out alone, navigating the treacherous landscape without guidance. Neither choice felt safe, but I had lost the privilege of caution the moment I fled the palace. With a deep breath, I steeled myself for what lay ahead, my heart pounding out a rhythm of determination. I gritted my teeth, bracing myself for the unknown. Where are we headed? The stranger's response was curt, their eyes scanning the shadows. Somewhere they'll never think to look. A place that existed outside the boundaries of my former life, a refuge from the danger that lurked around every corner. As I followed the stranger through the narrow streets, every instinct screamed at me to stop, to demand answers before taking another step. But something in their voice, a hint of desperation, kept me moving forward. This was my only chance at survival, and I knew it. The city, once my kingdom, now seemed like a foreign landscape. I navigated the alleys like a ghost, invisible and insignificant. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. This place had never truly been mine. I had ruled from a palace of privilege, oblivious to the rhythms of the city, the pulse of its people. We stopped at an old wooden door, tucked away between ancient buildings. The stranger knocked out a coded signal, and the door creaked open, revealing a pair of suspicious eyes. "Is this him?" a voice asked, the stranger nodding in response. I hesitated, knowing that once I stepped through that door, there was no turning back. I took a deep breath, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on me. The shadows outside seemed to grow longer, darker, and more menacing by the second. With a sense of trepidation, I stepped across the threshold, leaving the unknown dangers of the night behind. As I entered the room, the flickering light of candles and lanterns danced across the space, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air was thick with the scent of old parchment, burning wax, and the faint hint of exotic spices. I scanned the room, taking in the scattered maps, scrolls, and notes that covered a large wooden table. It was a space that seemed to vibrate with secrets and strategy. I turned to the stranger, my eyes narrowing as I demanded answers. "What's going on? Why have I been brought here?" My patience was wearing thin, but I knew that I had to tread carefully. In this mysterious lair, surrounded by the whispers of rebellion, I was no longer the prince. I was a pawn, and I needed to understand the game. The stranger closed the door for us, their eyes locking onto mine. They told me that my father sent me away to save my life. I inclined my head, my thoughts spiraling into a vortex of unease. "Who seeks to harm me?" The stranger's hesitation hung in the air like a specter, their words dripping with a sense of impending doom. "There are those who aim to excise your very existence from the annals of time." The phrase descended upon me like a shroud, its icy fingers wrapping around my heart. I felt the ground beneath me tremble, as if the very foundations of my reality were being torn asunder. The truth hit me with the force of a hurricane. I was staring into the abyss, and the abyss was staring back, hungry to